the guardian of the citizen. But first, he must learn how to be a good citizen before he becomes the guardian of the citizen. The citizen must view police as a friend, a protector. There is no need to be frightened about the police. And it goes back to our colonial past. Yes, they enforce the law, but imagine the concept of Olokpa, the man with the stick. The man with the stick symbolizes authority, but the man with the stick also symbolizes the oppressor. The citizen must not see the police as an oppressor, but as a guardian. So we need a great deal of reorientation, both on the part of the law enforcement and on the part of all citizens. And in this Resolution 2151 is incorporated the reform of the justice sector, because it's all an integral part of the entire rule of law. The justice system, the citizen expects justice, and the citizen must receive justice. It's an omnibus reform, which is very, very positive in the development agenda. If you don't tackle these basic reforms, then you have an environment that is not conducive to development. And as you know, resolutions are binding on all member states. But we are expected to run with this resolution, begin to implement them at the national level, at the sub-regional level, at the continental level, and of course, bring all our ideas and the results together to see how much we have done in its implementation. That is what I intend to do.
One of the most turbulent and rigorous debates you had at the Security Council was the Israeli-Palestinian debate. And from my point of view, one thing I noticed was that the Palestinian Authority seems to be winning a lot of sympathy from the international community. Is this really justified, considering Israel's claims too?
Well, you described it as endless debate. I think, well, they're endless, but they're very useful nevertheless. I think it was Churchill who said it's better to judge rather than war. It is important not to slam any door on negotiations. Negotiations are very critical. The dialogue is very critical in resolving conflicts. Mediation is also very critical. It's been a long-standing conflict, and I think this community will be instrumental in resolving the conflict. First of all, we must accept the two nations, the concept of two nations, the two-state solution, two nations coexisting side by side.
Sorry, let me come in here. The United Nations, the United States sponsored peace deal expired, and that
29th of April.
And that also initiated a two-state solution. Isn't it time to search for an alternative solution beyond this two-state solution package?
Yeah, the two-state solution is so fundamental to the resolution of the problem, of the situation. We have relations with with Israel and with Palestine, and I see our role as the one of bridge builder. We build the bridges between the two. We are not neutral. We are bridge builders. Our responsibility is to find ways at a bilateral level and at the multilateral level to make sure that the doors are open for negotiations. And if you notice in our statement, we try to balance. That does not make us neutral. We are impartial. It's important to remember those concepts.
Okay, now let's move to how you've been able to handle your role as the President of the United Nations Security Council. Have you been able to deal with the concept of the 5 key members without you having your role as the President being undermined?
That is, well, I don't know, it's difficult to answer, but I really, I don't worry about this, anybody undermining me. I am too strong for fear. And if I might be immodest, too noble for anger. I don't think that any member state decides to provoke you deliberately. As a diplomat, you cannot afford to display anger.
Evaluating your role as the President of the United Nations Security Council, how were you able to deal with the concept of the 5 key members, the permanent seat members, without having your role as the President undermined, considering the fact that these 5 key members have their veto powers?
Well, they were the victors of the Second World War, don't forget. And power is not given away so lightly. You have to struggle to seize it. But I think that will evolve over time. The Security Council was not 15 in the past, but it will expand with time. The pressure is on from other member states to democratize. I mean, if the developed nations are asking for democratization or re-democratization, it should begin from the epicenter. I think the Security Council could be democratized over a period, not by revolution, but by evolution. But amongst the 15 of us, except where they exercise their veto power, and it's usually not in anybody's interest, we have collective decision making. They lobby us just as we lobby them. And we arrive at decisions by consensus. It's too much of a privileged position to compromise, because you're sitting there, you're participating, even as an elected member, with a global mandate. You have a global mandate. I'm representing Nigeria just as I'm representing the other members of the General Assembly who gave us their vote. They gave us their vote. And so that is why you find them coming to you, and that is what saps the strength of the president, and no one person can do that job for more than 1 month. There is tremendous pressure from every corner of the world for you to consider kindly the issues on the agenda as it relates to them.
Okay.
And you're expected to be a just judge, to be a fair and balanced judge.
Okay, without taking so much of your time, which I've already done, well, without expanding it, now your tenure has come and gone, and the crisis is still on in so many conflict areas, in so many flashpoints. In summary, what do you feel is the solution towards world peace and security? Because human lives are at stake.
Yes, our tenure has come and gone until the next one, but we remain ever active. You can't afford to sit down there. You must contribute. It's like a treadmill. You cannot stop. If you stop, you fall. You cannot stop. We remain very, very active on every issue on the agenda, whether it relates to us or not, but more especially when it relates to the African continent. We are very, very vociferous. And we want to bring in our African perspectives. We wear the shoes and we know where it pinches.
Before I let you go, even though I've taken so much of your time, I think we should just try to tap from your world of experience. What is the way forward concerning the dilemma of world peace and security?
I must say that conflicts will always be there because people have ways of doing things. There is the inherent struggle for power, inherent struggle over resources, land, and other resources. So that is the phenomenon of living on this planet. And so it's not going to end tomorrow. And you know, once you get on the agenda of the Security Council, it takes quite some time to get out of it. One success story that we have had this year is the drawdown of the peacekeeping mission in Sierra Leone. They are now free and delisted. They have now achieved relative peace and stability. And so it is one of the success, Sierra Leone is one of the success stories that we put out there. I hope Liberia will follow suit, Ivory Coast will follow suit, Guinea-Bissau will follow suit. And in the Pacific region, Timor-Leste is a big success story. And you see, the importance of putting all this in a context is that we must draw lessons from success story. And that is why it's important to consider history. Those who forget history will always repeat the mistakes of the past.
Your Excellency, Professor Joy Ogwu, thank you very much indeed for being a part of this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and God bless you. Thank you. God bless you.
And that'll be all on this episode of Question Time. What's your take on Nigeria's engagement with the UN? Is Nigeria's national interest well projected in the international frontier? You may send us a comment on our social media platforms showing on your screen. Well, you can join us next week on another exciting episode of the program on Channels Television. Many thanks for watching. I'm Minga Ashiru saying goodbye.